The story begins with a boy approaching a girl named Espen. Nervously holding a bouquet of flowers, he tells her there's something he wants to say. "Will you marry me?" he asks, voice trembling with sincerity. Espen stares at him, stunned. Of all the people she had expected, not him. This wasn't supposed to happen. Not now. Not with him. The boy looks at her with puppy dog eyes, his cheeks red. "I really like you," he whispers. But Espen turns her head abruptly, her voice cold. "I don't want this." Confused and heartbroken, the boy steps forward. "Why? I don't need anyone but you." He doesn't know yet, this sweet, kind boy will become the most powerful man in the Empire. Feared across the land as the Devil Sword Master, he will also become the man Espen hates more than anyone else in the world. That hatred is why she pushes him away now. It's why she rejects him again. The force of her shove knocks the bouquet from his hands. She doesn't look back. "I have to go," she mutters, and walks away. Espen knew she should never have helped him. Not the boy who would one day become her sworn enemy. Just as she flees, a massive explosion rocks the street behind her. She doesn't stop, assumes she's hallucinating. She needs to leave the city, fast. But when she glances back, what she sees chills her to the core. A strange man stands there, staring at her. Before she can react, another man appears, floating in the air. This second one, too, she should be wary of. The floating man approaches and reaches out for her hand. "You don't have to worry. I'll help you," he says gently. "But you'll have to choose me over him." Everything is happening too fast. Her thoughts blur. And then, she blacks out. Let's rewind. To the left stands the boy who will become the youngest leader of the Imperial Knight Order, the strongest swordsman in the Empire. To the right, the man floating in air is destined to become the greatest magician of their time. And caught between them, is Espen, a time traveler accidentally entangled with two futures. In this empire, the Heavenly Knight Order is the most elite force. Only those with unmatched skill, regardless of age, gender, or status, can join. Those selected become national heroes. 10 of them are granted the rank of Royal Knight. At the pinnacle of this order stands one man, the current commander of the Heavenly Knight Order, Zeno I Black Knight, one of the Empire's 3 dukes and the youngest commander-in-chief in history. Espen Shuei was his vice-commander. An orphan with a large scar across her face, Espen was treated with contempt. Though her title was high, no one respected her. She was called a loser even by herself. And she hated Zeno with all her heart. During preparations for a royal ceremony, Espen slams her hand on a table. "Why are you giving the lead role to someone else?" she demands. The officer scratches his head. "I was told there was a change. You've been replaced. But I won the position. I earned it." The man shrugs. With that face, that scar can't even be hidden with magic. Zeno would look better in the spotlight. Espen clenches her fists. "I'll talk to him directly." She doesn't want to be hated, but the world seems determined to despise her. Outside, she bumps into Devio and Chaerin, another knight. "I heard you lost your role," he says. "You deserved it, but maybe it's better if Zeno takes it." Espen doesn't reply. She lowers her gaze in shame. She had lost everything as a child in a fire, her home, her family. No culprit was ever found. But in the aftermath, she discovered her incredible swordsmanship. If people had acknowledged her talent back then, things might have been different. Even now, though she's stronger than many knights, she can't surpass one person, Zeno. He is the wall she cannot climb. In every competition, he wins. In every gathering, he outshines her. His perfection drives her mad. The order, once built on merit, has begun to rot under aristocratic influence. She sees it. She feels it. It's time to leave. But before she goes, she asks for one thing, one last request. A duel. "Fight me," she says to Zeno. "I need this." Zeno stares at her. "Are you serious?" "I am." He agrees. "I'll be waiting at the training grounds." Espen exhales and walks away. Later that evening, rain begins to fall as they stand opposite each other. Zeno suggests they postpone the match. "I don't want you to be upset when you lose." Espen points to the sky. "You always arrive on time." "So do I." She smiles faintly. "And I don't mind the rain." Zeno nods. "Good." He lunges. She dodges, barely. She focuses on his hand movements. He swings again. She counters. Her blade reaches his neck. "You fell for my trick," she says, triumphant. But before she can react, a devastating blow slices through her side. The pain is unbearable. Zeno begs her to surrender. Panting, bleeding, Espen refuses. "This is my last chance." She stands again. She knows his patterns. His always precise, like clockwork. That's what she respected, even if she hated him. Her feelings confuse her now. Maybe the hatred came from the inferiority complex she developed, because everyone hated her. Perhaps he wasn't to blame. As she charges, a blinding light appears behind her, momentarily stunning Zeno. She takes the chance, presses forward, and strikes. An explosion rocks the arena. Zeno collapses to the ground, dazed. Through the rain, Espen approaches. Did the weather affect the outcome? She asks softly. Espen Shuei, who had lost 99 of 100 duels, had finally won once. That night, she walks through the rain-soaked streets, not even tending to her wounds. She knows she might die from them, but she doesn't care. Suddenly, she spots something, a rabbit on the road. Before she can react, a cart comes hurtling toward it. No. Without hesitation, Espen rushes forward. Too late. But even then, she couldn't bring herself to leave the poor rabbit in danger. The cart driver saw Espen rush into the road too late. He yanked the reins, trying to stop the horses with all his strength. But the impact couldn't be avoided. Espen fell to the ground. Yet her arms were still tightly wrapped around the rabbit. The driver jumped down in panic, kneeling beside her. Is she dead? What should I do? He muttered in a panic, looking around helplessly. After a few moments of indecision, he climbed back into the cart and fled. Espen lay motionless. Her energy had been completely drained. She thought to herself that this must be the end. At least she'd gone out with a win, her final duel as a knight had ended in victory. But her life had been far too short. She never imagined she'd be given a second chance or that she'd meet him again. The man she hated more than anyone in the world. Sometime later, Espen awoke lying in the grass. Her body ached all over. Fragments of memory flashed in her mind, running after a rabbit, the sudden appearance of a carriage, the crash. She tried to sit up, groaning. Her limbs felt unfamiliar. Where was she? Raising her head, she saw only trees and a lake, bathed in moonlight. A strange, surreal peace hung in the air. Wasn't I dead? She thought. Her throat was parched. She stumbled to the water to take a sip, but froze. Her reflection stared back at her. It wasn't her face, nor her body. Espen screamed in confusion. Where was her trained, knight's body? Where were her muscles, her strength? The scarred face she had worn like armor. Her new form looked soft, delicate, childlike. She collapsed in shock. Her limbs felt alien. Then came a rustling sound. Startled, she looked up. A creature, a rabbit, stood in front of her, blinking cheerfully. Finally awake, it said brightly. Espen stared. Who are you? Why are you talking? The rabbit puffed up proudly. I'm the deity of fate. You can call me Lepus. No need to thank me for saving your life. Espen's mind reeled. The rabbit, could it be that rabbit? The one she'd saved from the carriage? You're that rabbit, she muttered. Well, technically yes, but I'm also not just a rabbit, Lepus said. I'm a divine being. When you jumped in front of that carriage, I was impressed. So I gave you a second life. Espen grabbed him. What did you do to my body? Lepus wriggled. I resurrected you. This is just a temporary form, of course. It'll disappear once my powers run out. Tears welled up in Espen's eyes. Is this supposed to be a gift? She whispered. Is this a mercy? You were meant to die, Lepus said simply. But I liked you. So I gave you another shot. He looked at her kindly. Do you want to live? Espen wiped her face and nodded. Yes. If I get another chance. I'll stop wasting time hating people. I want to live freely this time. Lepus perked up. Then let's make a contract. A contract. Yes, he said, his ears twitching. Your current body belongs to a divine being from another dimension. Long ago, due to a crack between worlds, many divine creatures escaped. I need your help finding them. Espen blinked. Wait, what? Where are we even? We're in the Empire, Lepus said. But 18 years before your death. What? Espen shouted. You sent me to the past. Think of it as a perk, Lepus said cheerfully. Anyway, there's a village nearby. Let's walk and talk. Still trying to wrap her head around the situation, Espen followed him. But as they passed through a thicket, a strange sound caught her attention, a soft, frightened cry. She pushed through the bushes and found a boy sitting alone, trembling in the dark. Espen frowned. What's a kid doing out here this late? Up close, the boy had a delicate face, handsome, even, but his tear-filled eyes unsettled her. They were the same color as his. As Zeno's. No way, she thought. Zeno couldn't have been this timid as a child. Why are you shaking? She asked. Are you one of the gang that was chasing me? He stammered. Espen tilted her head. Gang? Realizing she didn't know them, the boy burst into tears again. Wait, please stop crying, Espen said, panicked. I can't handle crying kids. She squeezed Lepus like a stress ball. Do something, he yawned. I'm invisible to children, remember? Espen turned back to the boy. What are you doing in the forest? It's dangerous. You're a child too, he mumbled. Don't get cheeky. The boy apologized quickly, then explained. There's a kid named Pantheon and his gang. They bully me. Our teacher really likes him, so no one stops them. They left me here after training. Espen examined his bruises and torn clothes. They beat you up. He nodded, sniffling. Espen's jaw tightened. She remembered similar bullying back in the night order. She'd stood up for the weak then and been hated for it. But it had always been worth it. You didn't do anything wrong, she told him gently. They're the ones with issues. What should I do? He asked. Fight back, she said with a smile. The boy looked doubtful. I can't. Just then, shouts echoed through the woods. Where are you, Snotnose? Lepus twitched. A fight's brewing. Espen muttered, don't be ridiculous. I can't even stand properly. You're still adjusting to your new body, Lepus explained. A moment later, the gang appeared, 3 boys sneering with malicious glee. Pantheon, the leader, laughed. Thought you could run? You'll get special treatment now. Our teacher gave us permission, another boy sneered. Espen scowled. 3 against 1. Pathetic. Pantheon blinked at her. Who the hell are you? I'm someone who believes in fair fights, Espen said sweetly. You want to be knights, right? Then stop acting like cowards. Try fighting one-on-one, if you dare. Pantheon growled. Big words for a little brat. He lunged at her with his sword. Espen sidestepped easily. Who taught you to swing like that? They should be fired. Then she raised her wand and slammed it to the ground. A blast of energy exploded beneath Pantheon's feet, sending him flying. Espen looked down at him. You're a pathetic bore. Pantheon scrambled to his feet, furious. Don't just stand there. Get her. Another boy charged, swinging wildly. Espen dodged, landed a punch to his face, and turned to the last attacker. Within seconds, the whole gang was groaning on the ground. You'll regret this, Pantheon wailed before fleeing. Espen sighed. They always run. She looked at her hands. What is this body? I haven't trained it, but it moves like I have. Lepus giggled. Didn't you say you wanted the best? I gave it to you. Espen ignored him and turned to the boy. You okay? He nodded, eyes wide with admiration. You're amazing. Thank you. Espen gave a rare smile. On her head, Lepus danced happily. I've never seen Pantheon run away from anyone before, the boy said. None of the boys had ever managed to beat Pantheon before. To Zenok, Espen was amazing, cool beyond words. He kept talking about how incredible she was, praising her non-stop, until she finally interrupted with a smile. Thank you, she said gently. But right now, I'm just really hungry. The boy immediately stood up. Then I'll feed you. Espen was reminded of what Lepus had said about a nearby village. Do you live close by? She asked. I do now, the boy answered. But my real home is somewhere else. Espen didn't quite understand what he meant, but she chose not to press. Instead, she confessed, this may sound strange, but I don't have a place to stay tonight. The boy's eyes softened. You ran away too, huh? Then, without hesitation, he held out his hand. You can stay at our house. Later, they arrived at a modest home. As soon as they entered, a maid bowed and greeted the boy as master. Espen blinked. The boy's fine clothes didn't match the humble house, and the way the servants addressed him was oddly formal. Something about this child didn't add up. Is he being bullied because of his status? She wondered. At the dinner table, Espen stared at the food in mild confusion. It wasn't like the carefully prepared meals she used to eat as a knight, but she was still grateful. Thank you for earlier, the boy said quietly. Espen replied, it's okay, but maybe I shouldn't have stepped in. Sometimes bullies get worse after being embarrassed. He clasped his hands. Even so, no one's ever stood up for me before. You were the first. Espen glanced at the servant again, still unsure. Does no one help you? He shook his head. No one ever supported me with swordsmanship. And my father kicked me out. His face darkened at the mention of his father. Espen felt something stir. There must be a reason behind all this. Trying to lighten the mood, she asked his name again, having missed it earlier. The boy smiled. Zenok. Zenok Black Knight. Espen froze mid-bite. The name echoed in her head. Zenok. Black Knight. Her spoon clattered to the table. What did you say? Say that again. Zenok Black Knight, he repeated, a bit puzzled. Do you have siblings? She asked, breathless. I have a sister, he answered. Espen stared at him, stunned. This fragile, tearful boy, is the same Zenok. The commander-in-chief. The man feared, envied, and admired by all. She remembered what he'd said earlier about his teacher. He was currently learning swordsmanship. Here? That's right, Zenok said. But I'm terrible with a sword. I'm afraid of it. Espen nearly dropped her bowl. The future commander-in-chief, afraid of a sword. Dinner ended in silence, with Espen deep in thought. Later that night, she sat alone in the room they'd given her, staring out the window. I've really gone back, 18 years. And I'm not even in my real body. She clutched the blanket tightly. If I've gone back, does that mean the real me still exists in this world? Lepus suddenly popped into view. Don't even think about it, he said. Espen looked up. Think about what? About meeting your real self, Lepus yawned. I know you're thinking it. But it's forbidden. You share the same soul. What would happen if I did? She whispered. You'd disappear, Lepus said simply. Espen fell silent. She hadn't expected that answer. Trying to comfort her, Lepus hopped over and nuzzled her gently. If you help me find all the escaped divine beings, I'll grant you any wish. Really? Any wish? She asked, a faint spark of hope in her voice. Lepus nodded confidently. Espen held him close. Then I have to do this. I'm in a new time, a new life, and no one hates me here. Maybe I can finally live freely. But first, she needed to repay the kindness Zenok had shown her. She turned to Lepus again. I have a question. Who are these divine beings? Lepus perked up. I'm glad you finally asked. That proves how special you are. Espen sighed. I just died and came back to life. I'm still adjusting, and I didn't exactly plan to meet Zenok, of all people. Lepus explained, divine beings are powerful animals. With their power, one can rule a village, a nation, or even a whole dimension. The most dangerous ones are sealed away in a special realm. I guard them. So, they're gods? Espen asked. Close enough, Lepus replied. But here, their power is limited. That's why I need your help to track them down. Espen nodded slowly. And, what if I meet someone from my old life? You'll be fine, Lepus said. You look completely different now. Espen relaxed slightly and soon fell asleep. The next morning, Espen and Zenok stood outside, sharing an apple. Is there really a training center for knights nearby? She asked. Zenok looked slightly embarrassed. Yeah, this estate belongs to Count Usaset. His daughter is the fiancée of Duke Black Knight. But my father is weak-willed. That's why he sent me here and left me. Espen was intrigued. How did a boy like Zenok still end up as a duke in the future? He suddenly turned to her. Want to walk around the training center? Espen nodded. If I'm going to find divine animals, I need to explore. As they walked, she noticed the stares. The same looks she remembered from her own childhood, mocking, cold, hateful. She glanced at Zenok. He's used to this too, isn't he? She spotted a few familiar hooligans in the distance. They locked eyes with her, yelped, and bolted. Espen smiled grimly. They won't bother you today. She wrapped an arm around Zenok's shoulders. He flinched at the sudden contact. Soon, they found a quieter place to sit. Zenok apologized. You can go first. Espen shook her head. You tell me your story. Eventually, though, she asked sheepishly, can I stay with you a little longer? I don't really have anywhere else. Zenok blinked, then nodded. You can stay as long as you want. Espen was touched. He didn't even ask who she really was. Thank you. I'm Espen, by the way. Zenok smiled. Espen added, I think those boys will try to hurt you again. Since you let me stay here, I'll help protect you. Zenok's eyes filled with tears again. Why are you crying? She asked, flustered. No one's ever helped me before, he murmured. Memories surged through her. The stoic, aloof commander. People said he was cold, disinterested. But she remembered those quiet moments when he praised her efforts, offered help no one else would. She gently patted Zenok's head, then pulled her hand back in horror. Did I just pat the commander-in-chief? Trying to change the subject, she asked if she should enroll in the training center too. Zenok flushed red and nodded. Espen smiled. The closer I am to him, the better I can protect him. But how could he have once been afraid of a sword? What changed? Are you here because you want to be? She asked. Zenok turned away. My father told me to come. I'm just staying here. Espen sighed. I understand. Then she brightened. Want to visit the village with me? I need to track down some divine Pokemon. Poke what? Zenok asked, bewildered. Espen grinned. Never mind. You don't need to hang around here all the time. She watched him quietly. He has no one here. He deserves to meet someone who truly cares for him. She clutched her chest. A memory stirred. Are you okay? Zenok asked. I'm fine, she said. Just as they stood to leave, Lepus burst out of her hood, screaming, emergency, emergency. Espen flinched. What now? I felt it. Lepus cried. A divine being. Where? Espen asked. He pointed. That way. She turned to Zenok. What's in that direction? He looked surprised. A village. Perfect, Espen said. I'm going there. Coming. Zenok hesitated. I'm supposed to meet my teacher today. Espen blinked. Oh, so he wants me to come along. But Zenok said, the teacher doesn't meet with strangers. He's famous. But I'll ask if I can skip. He raised his eyes. I want to stay with you. Espen was stunned. Puppy dog eyes. A trembling voice. Is this really the same Zenok I knew? I'm sorry, he mumbled. I shouldn't have said that. He began to cry again. You're not a burden, Espen said softly, patting his head once more. She turned away. I'm just thinking about other things. I'll go ahead to the village. See you at dinner. Zenok nodded. See you. Meanwhile, hiding in the bushes nearby, Pantheon and his gang watched and waited for the perfect moment. In the alley, Espen spotted two adults cornering a young boy. We just want your money, one said. Hand it over and we won't hurt you. The boy didn't cower. You'll regret coming here, he warned. In a flash, bright bursts of magic lit up the alley. The men screamed and dropped. The boy stood over them, smiling sweetly. But before he could gloat, he tripped on a loose stone and fell flat. Espen approached and muttered, during a fight, keep an eye on your feet. You never know when someone will sweep your legs. The boy blinked, then laughed. Thanks. That was clumsy of me. Espen didn't bother with pleasantries. Who are you? I'm Cade. A magician, he said proudly. Nice to meet you. Espen stiffened. A magician? Her mind reeled. The knightly order she belonged to had a few mags, but most lived in the distant magic tower. Seeing one out here was unexpected. Cade stepped closer. Are you okay? I hope I didn't hit you with that blast. I'm fine, Espen said. Just surprised. I've never seen magic up close before. Cade grinned. Do you live here? She hesitated. My name's Espen. He nodded, then looked at her more curiously. Espen. Her heart skipped. Why does his name sound so familiar? She asked, aren't you a bit young to be a magician? He twirled his wand. And you're a bit young to handle a branch like that so well. She smirked. I'm a knight. Impressive. Cade lowered his wand. I'm not from here. I'm traveling with my teacher, a great magician. Lightning seemed to shoot through Espen's mind. Cade. The great hermit magician from the future? She remembered, when she was vice commander, the emperor had fallen gravely ill. Only the magic of one mysterious wizard could cure him, Cade. He appeared suddenly, healed the emperor, then vanished. Despite endless searches, no one ever found him again. And now, he's standing right in front of me. Espen's mind whirled. I have to befriend him. While Cade dealt with the fallen thugs, Espen asked, why are you in this village? We heard rumors of a strange phenomenon, he said. We're collecting special treasures. Treasure? Espen asked, intrigued. Things like a harp that makes waves, a stone that makes food taste incredible, and a time turner. Time turner? Espen's brain exploded with confusion. Yeah, Cade said cheerfully. With it, we could travel to the future. Before Espen could respond, Lepus shrieked, emergency. The snow weaver had appeared. Espen sprang up, blocking Cade instinctively. She was prepared to face a terrifying beast, but instead, a child stood before them. That's him, Lepus whispered. The divine being. Espen stared. This is the snow weaver. Why does he look human? Lepus shrugged. Some divine beings take animal form. Some take human. There was no time for more answers. The boy, the snow weaver, bolted. Wait, Espen yelled, dashing after him. Behind her, Cade blinked. Does she know that kid? She turned briefly and called, sorry, I have to go. How long will you be in the village? A while, he called back. Great, we'll meet again. She grabbed his hand briefly and dashed off. Cade stood there, baffled. Why is she chasing someone with a weird rabbit on her head? Espen ran for a long time, but eventually stopped, panting. We lost him, she muttered. Still, she pushed aside her frustration. He's still somewhere in this village. I'll find him. Meanwhile, from a hidden rooftop, the snow weaver watched her, eyes glinting with silent rage. Back at the training center, Pantheon and his gang were at it again, cornering Zenok. Well, Pantheon sneered. Going to pick up that sword today? Zenok stayed silent, trembling. He won't, one of the boys laughed. Not without that idiot girl around. Pantheon cracked his knuckles. Guess we'll break your legs today. Zenok's heart pounded. I want to go home. I want to escape this. I want a different ending. As Zenok lay on the ground, he suddenly remembered the past, faces filled with disappointment, asking how someone with such power could have fallen so far. But instead of despair, those memories now fueled him. They gave him a reason to change. With a deep breath, the boy reached for the sword. Pantheon burst out laughing. What are you going to do with that? Mockingly, he brought his own blade to Zenok's neck. Go on then. Hit me. Struggling, Zenok got to his feet. His legs trembled beneath him, but he stood. Pantheon and his gang exploded into cruel laughter. Look at him. He can barely stand. Zenok's mind slipped into memory again. Back then, they had thrown him to the floor, kicking him while he screamed. In another memory, he was in a cold, dark room, surrounded by corpses, fighting the urge to vomit. A man rubbed his hands together in awe. He's the only one who survived. But the Duke merely scoffed. This weakling. He can't even lift a sword. Back in the present, Pantheon and his friends had lost interest and stopped. Zenok lay beaten and broken, but in front of him, a sword glimmered faintly in the light. It was like a beacon, like hope. With all the strength he had left, Zenok reached for it. The gang was too busy laughing to notice. Then, suddenly, Zenok leapt up and slashed. His blade grazed Pantheon's clothes. Gasps rang out. Pantheon stared at him in shock, frozen by the fury in Zenok's eyes. For a moment, Pantheon saw something terrifying, a glimpse of the man Zenok might become. A killer. A commander. A monster. He stumbled back, falling to his knees in disbelief. Was that real? Then he blinked. Zenok was still on the ground. The attack hadn't happened. Pantheon shivered. He'd imagined it. But it had felt so real. Furious and shaken, he growled, "Finish him off." Elsewhere in the village, Espen was searching for the Snow Weaver. "Any idea where he is?" she asked Lepus. The rabbit twitched his ears. "He's hiding. He doesn't like me." Espen put her hands on her hips. "Why doesn't he like you, anyway?" Lepus grimaced. "We fought. A lot. I guess you could say we hate each other." She narrowed her eyes. "You don't care about these divine creatures at all, do you?" Lepus avoided her gaze. "Of course I care," he said half-heartedly. Espen sighed. "One way or another, we know he's in the village. We just have to catch him." She glanced at the branch in her hand. It was her only weapon, hardly enough. "If only I had my sword from before. But in this body, it's probably useless now." Still, it was time to return home. When she arrived at the training center, she stopped in shock. Zenok was on the ground again, barely conscious. "Zenok," she cried, rushing to his side. He stirred weakly. Behind her, 3 boys noticed Espen and bolted. She almost chased them, but a trembling hand gripped her arm. Zenok looked up at her with tear-filled eyes. "I want to become strong." Espen bit her lip hard. "This broken boy. He'll become the strongest knight. The nightmare of every enemy. Where did that strength go?" She knew it was still inside him, buried deep. "Why?" she asked gently. "Why do you want to become strong?" He hesitated, then nodded, ashamed. "I want to get back at them." Espen crouched beside him. "Stop crying. I'll help you." Even though she was convinced he would grow strong with or without her, she felt compelled to help. After all, he had once taken her in, fed her, sheltered her. She owed him. Suddenly, in another part of the Empire, the adult Zenok slammed his hand on a table. "Find Lady Espen and bring her to me. Now. She doesn't have permission to leave." "All units," he added coldly, "search for her. She has nowhere else to go." Back in the village, Espen looked at the boy. "I'll help you because you once helped me," she said. "Starting tomorrow, you don't have to go to the training center. You'll train with me." Zenok looked up in astonishment. "You'll also help me find something," she added. "But let's talk more over dinner." Later, they sat together at a small table. Zenok was eagerly awaiting food when Espen said out of nowhere, "I'm looking for a child." He blinked. "What?" Espen almost smiled. "He's so cute like this." But then she caught herself. "This boy is the future commander-in-chief. Pull yourself together, Espen." "Yes, a child," she repeated. "White curly hair, small horns, wears shorts." Zenok's eyes widened. "Horns." She figured he'd understand when he saw the boy. Without a word, Zenok began sketching something. After a while, he held up his drawing. "Is this him?" Espen took the drawing and melted. It was adorable. "You know," she said, "maybe you shouldn't draw anymore." He looked crushed. But then she added, "Because you're going to be the best knight in the Empire." He smiled a little at that. Espen asked, "Why do you live in this tiny house alone? Why not stay on your father's estate?" Zenok's expression dimmed. "It's cold there, too gloomy." "You can tell me anything," Espen said softly. "It's not like I'll be around forever." Zenok looked at her sadly, then lowered his gaze. "I was treated just as badly there," he whispered. "I always thought I'd grow up worthless, that no one would ever need me." Espen's heart twisted. He doesn't just want revenge. He wants to believe he matters. She knew that even if he never thanked her, even if he forgot her, she could at least give him this hope. A future. "Let's eat," she said brightly. "No more sad thoughts." "But, what about training?" he asked. "We don't need to do it now." Zenok tried to protest, but she cut him off. "You won't become strong in one day. The same goes for rest. One day won't change anything." Meanwhile, in a dark alley, the Snow Weaver seethed. He replayed the moment he had seen Lepus sitting on a human's head. Why was he with a person? Why is he with her? He clenched his fists. I won't let this go.